Okay, so we are back at Stick War 3, and there are a lot of things I have to talk about, a lot of things I have to go over, so I hereby order all my subscribers to immediately stop what you're doing, grab some popcorn, and tune into the Order Empire show. As I talk you to sleep. Okay, so anyway, let's get into it. So, we have some nerfs on a few generals. Kytchu, Atreyos, and Zarik. For Zarik, he has been nerfed from 1000 health to 750, and his damage has been nerfed from 75 to 50. Kytchu, his health has been nerfed from 400 to 300, which, to be entirely honest, that's not enough of a nerf for me. I personally think Kytchu needs to get nerfed a lot harder than that, but it's a start. Now here is a nerf that I absolutely do not agree with. That is the nerf on Atreyos. His health has been nerfed from 800 to 600. And when I first saw this, I thought, okay, well maybe they're buffing something to compensate for that, right? No. His damage is the same. His cost is the same. I think his training time has actually been increased. I don't know what it was previously, but I think it was increased. I could be wrong though. But nothing else has changed about Atreyos. He just got nerfed, which is something I don't like. Because Atreyos really wasn't that strong to begin with, and they just nerfed his health out of nowhere, on top of the fact that he is still nearly 1,000 freaking gold. He is the most expensive general in the game, and he just got nerfed hard. I don't like that at all. But anyway, to move on, Eclipsers have received a mana decrease. They now cost 100 mana as opposed to 150, and I like that. That's going to be a pretty decent change there. And there are a lot of things like customizable statues, which I think is pretty nice. But I'm more concerned about the balance updates to the units. Oh yeah, Kytchu and Zephos also have their own unique ability. I saw Kytchu's one in a GIF that someone posted, and oh my god, it looked overpowered as crap. But anyway, it's time to jump into some games and test out these new updates. So let's build a deck. I want to bring Eclipses to test out their effectiveness. I'm also going to bring Toxic Totality. I'm going to bring Archidons and Blazing Bolts because I've actually discovered a combo of Blazing Bolts, Archidons, and Poisonous Eclipsers to get a combination of burn damage and poison. Now, of course, I could do this with just Eclipses alone, but I think mixing Archidons in that is pretty decent. We're going to bring Zephos because apparently he has his own rage ability, I think, don't quote me on that. And then one more thing we need to bring, I could bring Kytchu, but I'm not. I'm going to bring Atreyos because I'm hoping that by showcasing how bad he is going to be now, that the developers will turn back on their decision to nerf him, and they'll actually buff him. I don't know. I just don't like the fact that Atreyos got nerfed when he really wasn't that strong to begin with. Yeah, like, the main thing that made Atreyos good was his health, because his damage really isn't all that, you know? Oh wait, hold on, I want to cancel this. I'm actually going to remove Sword Wrath, and I'm going to replace that with Control Whip. Oh yeah, Control Whip got nerfed. It is now an extra 100 mana. So, you know, players can't pull the whole early Control Whip thing in the early game. So, you know, it's actually going to require a bit more skill without Control Whip for a while at least. So this deck is going to have a lot of weaknesses, but I'm hoping that despite that, we can come out on top. Oh my god, we are playing against Bloxrow. Oh no. I can read the deck he brought so hard. So, more than likely, he's got Sword Wrath, Archidons, with Glacial Fletching, let me add, Mass Heal, or he may have Tesla Coil, I don't know. Whatever he has, it's automatically not going to be an easy time for me. The good news is, I will be able to outdamage him with the power of Blazing Bolts, but he can also slow me down significantly with Glacial Fletching. And I'm just gonna say this, I'm not good with this whole user control Archidon crap. I'm just not. And yeah, you can see. Oh, yep, yeah, okay. Oh my god, that is so stupid. So he did the 100 mana right off the bat mass heal. Holy crap, we are already off to a fantastically stupid start. So, honestly, I'm just going to go for another Archidon, but it's going to have to be solely for defensive purposes. I won't be able to use him offensively. That's just... Yeah, I forgot about Mass Heal. Mass Heal, in my honest opinion, Mass Heal needs to get another nerf. I can't stand how you can do that. Just Sword Archer and then Mass Heal and kill whatever start that the opponent makes, automatically throwing them into a massive deficit. I can't stand that. And now I'm forced to just sit here waiting for a massive Sword Wrath Rush or something stupid along those lines. So I'm already aggravated about that. That was really dumb. So we're going to go for Toxic Totality and get ready for an early Eclipser. Though I don't think it's going to be much help. I guarantee he has like 10 swords already. I'm not even kidding. And if that's not the case, I also guarantee that he has Kytchu on the way. I can bet $1 million freaking bucks on that he already has Kytchu on the way. Because nothing else about him has been changed besides his health nerf. Again, he needed to be nerfed more than that, but that didn't happen. So yeah, I'm pretty sure you guys can already tell. I'm already kind of salty right now after that. That was just so stupid. I hated every second of that. But yep, okay, here he comes. Never mind, he's just scouting with a Sword Rat to see what I have. So here we go. This is... Zephos now has a Rage ability, as I said before. And unfortunately, we're not going to be able to test it. Okay, so that's his plan. Yep, Garrison. Yep, I told you guys! I told you guys this was coming! I freaking called it! This is so stupid! This is so stupid. And now he's gonna chip my statue down with that. Again, a 100 health nerf on Kytchu is garbage. Like, it's so garbage. It's such a pointless nerf. Well, okay, let me shut up. It's not a pointless nerf. It's not a big enough nerf to Kytchu. There's literally nothing we can do here except hope we come out on top with our increasing ranged unit count. That's all I can freaking hope for right now. I am so annoyed at this. So the arrow volley actually doesn't hit us this time. Surprisingly, I thought these were going to be like heat-seeking freaking missiles and hit us no matter what. But fortunately for us, that is not the case. But he is going to start doing that stupid crap. Oh wow, I missed my... Yep. Oh, so Zephos' rage ability actually allows every light unit on the field to rage. That's nice to know, but it doesn't mean crap. It doesn't mean a damn thing, because we are still gonna lose, all because I lost my single Archer start. This is such a fantastic start to this video, and I'm already pissed off. Alright everyone, guess what time it is? It's time to post-commentate. So, I played a ton of matches today, and I'm not live commentating them simply because I just wasn't able to. So this is going to be a post-commentary breakdown, analysis, scientific theories and equations, and you know what I mean. So, all of these games, 1, 2, 3, oops, I was counting them, but I didn't mean to do that. Hold on, we're gonna go through each and every one of these games, okay? Now let me count how many we got here. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 games to go over. So, let's begin. Be sure to take out your notebooks and get ready to take some notes because I will quiz you at the end of... Never mind, it's just... I'm an idiot. Alright, so here's the first game. Now that I'm not actually live commentating, this gives me a chance to talk about someone specific, someone near and dear to my heart, and his name is Atreyos. Atreyos was already not that strong of a general to begin with when he was first added to the game. He was decent, but he wasn't the best. In fact, me and a bunch of other players agreed that Atreyos could actually use a bit of a buff because at the current moment he is a bit underwhelming. But you can imagine mine and our surprise when Atreyos didn't get a buff. He instead received a 200 health nerf. Something that I absolutely do not agree with, because nothing else has been changed about Atreyos. There's been no compensation for his health decrease. His damage hasn't been touched. He still costs 900 gold, 200 crystal. He is still the most expensive unit in the entire game. Or expensive general, excuse me, in the entire game. And he got a health nerf. So essentially, Atreyos is kind of useless. And I didn't like that. So I decided to build a deck and try and show how bad Atreyos is in hopes to get the devs to buff him again. Because again, the health nerf, I don't agree with it at all. Atreyos really was not that strong to begin with. So I'm going to explain my deck. It's Sword, Spirtons, Toxic Deads, Atreyos, Control Whip, Toxic Totality, and Mass Heal. Now this deck has, the current state of this deck has one big weakness. It's Kytchu with Glacial Fletching. That's right, that is the biggest weakness to this deck. If not played properly against a Kytchu user, I will get destroyed here, and you will see that in the next couple of games. But I also wanted to not only get some use out of Atreyos, but also Spirtons in general. Now obviously Spirtons will be receiving improvements, but right now they are kind of the underdogs, and I wanted to make them look good. So that's what this deck is about. It's involving Spirtons, Swords, Toxic Deads to have a tanky ranged unit. I didn't want to bring Archidons or Eclipsers. I figured Toxic Deads would be a better choice, especially when I boost them with Toxic Totality. And Atreyos. And the purpose of Atreyos is right now, in my eyes, it's just going to be his damage. Like, he can do some pretty decent damage with Control Whip. That's why I brought Control Whip along with him, so I can get some better use out of Atreyos solely for damage, no longer for tank. Like, Atreyos only has like 200 health higher than a standard Spiriton. And again, look at the price of Atreyos compared to a standard Spiriton. It shouldn't be like that. So, you know, I have Control Whip now on my Spiriton, and I can do 21 damage to light units when controlling, which is not bad. It's pretty good. But we obviously need to be able to do better. So I'm going to fast forward now that I explained everything about this deck and why I decided to use this in the next bunch of games. So taking a look at Hero's side, he has his own Spiriton, but I'm noticing he actually has all units. He doesn't have any spells. In fact, he has 3 freaking generals, one of them being Kytchu, which is pretty crazy. This is the first player I played against that brought a deck consisting of all units in those spells. Which is not bad, you know. It's good to not be spell reliant, because, you know, that wouldn't be very good for you to just rely on spells 100% of the time. You know, you gotta put some use into your units. So here we go. I now have Atreyos, and if I tap on him, indeed 600 health as opposed to what it was previously 800. So again, this is just a bad idea. I really don't like this. So again, we're going to be showcasing this. This, in my opinion, this is the only role Atreyos can serve now. Because in terms of being a tank, like he's only going to have 200 health higher than a Spiriton, a standard Spiriton. So it's really just not worth it, considering how much he costs, how long he takes to train. You can lose him so quickly and almost get no worth out of him. And again, it's something I don't agree with. You're going to hear that a million times from me. But here we go, I'm attacking the statue because he's really trying to just garrison over and over and over and over. So by attacking the statue, I'm forcing him to come out and defend it. And this is where we pretty much kill everything. Now with Control Whip, I believe I can do 25 damage to heavy units, which isn't bad. And 37 to light, again, isn't bad. So that's what, in my opinion, Atreyos is only good for Control Whip used to control damage. Alright, so here we are on game 2, that is also with Hero of Order. Now, I'm going to explain another weakness with this deck, and that weakness is I haven't done this deck before. So at the current moment, I'm actually still getting used to it. And you're going to see in this game that I played so unbelievably horrible. I believe I had to surrender early in this game because I played like an absolute fool. And yep, see, right there. Oh wait, never mind, that's my sword. That was his sword that I killed. I thought that was one of my swords that died. But you can see that I just got lucky and escaped both those jump attacks. But look at this. I don't have another sword yet. And I wasted... Oh, I used my mass heal early, so now I can't even use it. So he manages to kill that sword. Now he has 3 swords in my base. I have no castle archers, no nothing out. Really, I'm just relying on the assisted damage from my miners to kill off his sword wrath. And right here, it actually worked. It actually worked right here. And I was able to force that other sword wrath away. And we lost like what? 1 miner and a couple swords? Nothing horrendous. So here is where I went for the first Toxic Dead. Yep, there he is. And right now he is just massing swords and archidons. And I just realized he's only had 2 miners this whole time. He's chosen to go extremely heavy into the army, which is why I have a Toxic Dead out here. So I can kite back on his swords, poison them. And right now I still don't have a lot. I only have this 1 sword to support this Toxic Dead. So I realized that, and I realized backing off was kind of pointless, so the only thing I could do was just hard engage and just let the poison do its work, because he has no spells to heal his units. So my Toxic Dead's gonna die, but look at that. That Archidon's gonna go down, that Sword Wrath's gonna go down, and I have a Spiriton already. And I was actually wrong. It wasn't this game where I played horribly and had to surrender. It was actually another game. This one, I'm actually not doing too bad, so, you know, I'm not that much of a buffoon. Alright, so I have 2 Spiritons now, holding tower, Control Whip on the way, Toxic Totality on the way, and, you know, just kind of doing me. He has a Spiriton and a Sword Wrath as well, but, I mean, just look at this. He only has 3 miners and a really low army. I mean, look at this population lead. I lead by a whole 10 population right now. So this game is actually massively in my favor. I thought I lost this one horribly, but nope, I did not. So here's where I'm finally putting Atreyos in the queue. And, you know, this deck is meant to be supportive to Atreyos, but really it's not, because I still have to make sure that I have a stable enough force before I can even queue Atreyos. You know, if I just wait for Atreyos without getting any extra army units, then, you know, we're just kind of screwed. So yeah, that's all I'm doing here, kind of just waiting for Atreyos to come out before I rush in to finish this. No, never mind, I decide to push. Do I commit to this push? It looks like yes, I do. Yeah, I know. I saw that he was massively behind, and I figured he pretty much had no chance of coming back, so I just kind of committed to his statue. He brings his units out, but it's kind of pointless. And here's where I finally bring Atreyos. And with his assistance, we managed to kill everything. And that's going to be the end of this game. Here's game number 3 I played, and this is against King Zarik's army. He's bringing Giant's Monstrosity. And after looking at his deck now, it's kind of ironic he says King Zarik's army, but, you know, I figured he would have brought Zarik to represent, but no, I'm just being an idiot. So here we go. This is the first game. I played 2 games against him, and now that I can recall, it was actually the second game I played against this guy when I played like an absolute piece of garbage and lost horribly. So this is actually where Mass Heal came in so freaking clutch for me. When I started this match, I put 1 miner on crystals and 1 miner on gold. You know, just to slowly start building up mana. There are so many instances here where Mass Heal came in so clutch for me, and without it, I probably would have lost this. So, you know, Mass Heal costs 100 mana right now. It's super cheap. I said this before, and I'll probably say it a billion more times, that I really do think Mass Heal needs to receive a nerf. It's too good. It's too good, and players can tend to get too reliant upon it. Like right now, look at that. I used Mass Heal again, and I exterminated his Sword Wrath once again. And now this time I have a Sword Wrath lead, and he won't be able to match it. So he has an Archidon, but he's forced to just play defensively with him. He can't do anything here. And this allows me to build up. I got my first Toxic Dead on the way. I can build up more units and eventually look into getting the first Spiritomb out. And I sent all of my units away. I like to do this so in case he tries to Archidon snipe, he's not going to hit any of us. He just tried right there. Look at that arrow sticking in the ground. And now he's starting with a Sword Wrath to see. And again, this is also what's also good about this is it kind of scares him, you know. He doesn't know what army I have until it's too late. So here is the first Spiritomb with 5 swords. And looking at what he has, still not a lot. Now he's going for a general here. He has Zephos in his deck, and that's who he is currently queuing. So he's going to Garrison every time I run in, which is fine, you know. I just come in, I kill things, and I leave. And it looks like here I decide to commit. Okay, yeah, just chip the statue down with... Just get some damage on the statue, not kill it yet. Now, my Spiritomb got destroyed, which proves that Spiritomb blocking right now is horrible. And I ended up losing 1 sword, but that's not bad. See, here we go. Now he has Zephos, but even with Zephos, he's not going to be able to do anything here. And I'm running him with the Toxic Dead now to poison his units. Kabam, we just hit an Archidon. And he's going to activate the Rage on Zephos, but he's going to miss the jump attack. Meanwhile, my swords are going to just clobber him. And there we go. He has the Garrison right off the bat there. Zephos almost died, in fact. And so here we go. This is where I just commit to the statue and finish him off. So I won that game, right? But now we witness this embarrassment. I'm going to show it. It's a learning experience for me and hopefully for you too. But just watch this crap. I'm going to fast forward through this entire thing. I played so horribly here. Number 1, I made a mistake of going for an early crystal. I thought I could do a whole early mass heal thing, but I don't execute it properly, on top of the fact that when I tried executing unit commands, that didn't work out. And I respected his Sword Wrath way too much and let him take tower. And right here is where I allowed 3 swords to fight against... I allowed my 2 swords to fight against his 3, so I lose 1. Now he has 4. I only have 2, now 3. But he can run in at any moment. And I went for Control Whip here, which is also pretty stupid because it takes such a long time to load. I could have spent that on a Toxic Dead or something like that. And here's where I ran in thinking I could activate Mass Heal to contest these swords. But number 1, I don't even activate it until now. Number 2, I mean, we just got stumped on. We got straight up fricked. Like, destroyed. That was... You know, so the lesson of the day is don't do that. So, I'm pretty sure, as you can probably tell, I was pretty damn demoralized after that game, how horribly I played. And oh boy, let me tell you, it was only getting worse, because guess who I'm playing next? That's right, I'm playing against him. Do I even need to say his name? I don't think I do. If you watch his YouTube videos, you know he does this all the time. And don't get me wrong, you know, it works, but God, I hate it. I hate it so much. So here we go. This is where the main weakness in my deck comes in. He's doing the exact thing that would make this an absolute nightmare for me. The whole Glacial Fletching Archidon using control for 1,000 years while preparing to go for Kytchu and all sorts of other crap. So what I thought I could do here was, first of all, I was able to cancel that Sword Wrath Thrust by just bringing my other swords out. Now he is going to endlessly control that damn Archidon and just hit my units with them. And so what I thought I could do was, since I have Mass Heal, just watch my units. And once enough of them get chipped, just use Mass Heal to heal them all up. And if it's just one unit taking a ton of damage, just garrison him. This is my thought of counter to the user control Archidon harassment that literally every single person in this game is doing. Okay, this was my supposed counter that I hoped would work. All the while, I'm getting Toxic Totality from my Toxic Dead, but I'm also making sure to keep stacking swords because he's going to be doing the same thing. Now, he's also going to be doing this with Glacial Fletching Archidons that I would have virtually no answer to. But by stacking swords, we have somewhat of a chance. So here's where I have my Toxic Dead, which I'm going to get massively outranged. But the purpose of this is to just save him from targeting my Eco. If he hits the Toxic Dead, it doesn't matter, he'll survive it. Now, you may be asking, well, why aren't you going for Tower? Well, because we can't. You know why? Because he has Tesla Coil. Tesla Coil only costs 100 mana, and once that gets activated, you have no chance. I'm not kidding. You have no chance unless you have a massive army that will not be hurt by the Tesla Coil. You have no freaking chance surviving against it, and expecting to still be in the lead. And here we go. To make matters even worse for me, guess who comes out? This motherfricker right here. This guy that I absolutely despise to my core. Kytchu in Stick War Legacy is an absolute god. Kytchu in Stick War 3, I hate his guts. I can't stand him. He is the bane to my very existence. Now, of course, I could have easily just switched my deck and used Kytchu for myself, but the thing is, I don't like playing this mainstream Archer crap because number one, I'm just not good at it, and number two, it's what everybody does and it sucks. So here we go. Here's where he decides to rush, and this is where I'm able to counter it. I feel like I did a pretty decent job here. But this is where I thought I could run. Never mind. I didn't run in. I baited his Tesla Coil. I knew it was coming. I freaking called it. I knew it was coming. So I just ran in, let him use it, and ran out. But look at this. Look at this crap. Look at this. Kytchu receiving a 100 health nerf. That is so not enough, and then the Tesla Coil was still activated, so my Spiritomb eats 100 more damage. Now here's where I was hoping my Sword Wrath could catch up to him, but it doesn't happen. Guess what? I use Mass Heal, but then he brings in all of his other swords and his Archidons. I lose my Spiritomb, who I was trying to use to distract him, and yep, that's game over for me, because all my swords are going to get kited to death with this 45 freaking damage, them literally getting killed in 2 hits. The Toxic Dead's not going to be enough to stop him. He may be able to do 37 damage to that. And here's where he's going to use the arrow volley, number one. Number two, he's going to bring in all those damn swords, and he's going to rush me, and he's going to kill me, which is why I absolutely hate players that do this. Okay, let me take that back. I don't hate players that do this. I hate the fact that they bring this crap all the time. All the time. This is what Stick War 3 has come to, and I cannot stand it. Okay, so after finishing that match and getting brutally destroyed, I had to make a change to the deck, especially since the next player I played was Kytchu, if I'm saying his name right. Make sure to subscribe to his channel, by the way. He makes fantastic content, so definitely go show your support. But anyway, I had to make a change to this deck. I thought if I wanted to counter this, I had to say goodbye to Atreyos, because against this kind of deck, Atreyos would do absolutely nothing. He was pretty much a waste of space. Like, he's not that good now, and on top of the fact he's extremely expensive, there would be no way possible for me to go for Atreyos and to use him effectively. So I switched him out for Projectile Barrier. And I end up losing my initial Sword Wrath, and it's going to turn into the exact same thing as before, where I have to use, where I basically have to stall. And that's why I have Projectile Barrier to assist with that. I'm doing the same thing as before, where I'm using Mass Heal to heal my units once they get chipped down enough. Until then, I'm just holding off on it. If I can garrison a unit, then I will. I have no problem with that. It's just when a lot of units have taken a lot of damage, that's when I can use the Mass Heal to help my miners and my swords recover. And for its duration, he won't be able to really kill any of us. So I used it here to protect those 2 miners at that last gold mine. Because you can see my economy has exploded now. His economy isn't as big. That's because he's been stacking swords kind of like me. But he also had to take the time to go for Kytchu, while I was able to continue stacking swords. So I have a decent amount of them now. And now, I'm trying to go for some cheese with the Toxic Dead. Now obviously, the Toxic Dead would lose this fight, but the reason why I decided to do it is so that his Kytchu can't target my units back here. It's these units back here that are the most vulnerable to Kytchu. Like 2 hits, using control and they're dead. So here's where he makes the push. This is what players tend to do. And I had a sword count to counter his swords. And so we were able to survive that. Now I actually don't think we killed any swords. Oh, never mind. We're killing some swords now. I forgot the poison from the Toxic Deads did a really good job in removing some of his numbers, so that helped out for me. And so look at this. I still have a ton of swords. I have a Spearton now to tank further, and I have a Toxic Dead. Now he's opting to play safe with Kytchu. He doesn't need to, because he can take this Toxic Dead down, kill him completely, and then just mass heal afterwards. But I could also use it as an opportunity to bait him. But here we go. This is where he runs in. I think he wanted to kill that Toxic Dead, and I completely shut that down and kill even more of his swords. And here's where he's activated the Tesla coil, and I decided to just simply sit that out and wait. Now check this out. Tesla coil is faded, it's still in cooldown. I have a ton of swords coming in, I have projectile barrier. He has way less swords than me. He has all those Archidons, but that's where the Spearton comes in. I can use the Spearton to actually distract Kytchu and force him to worry about the Spearton, as opposed to what he wants to kill, which are the swords. And so, amazingly, I'm somehow able to pull this off as a bit of a counter. Now, I'm not saying that this deck can really commit to countering against this kind of build, but I would say that it has a chance. There are other decks that could work, but they have to be discovered and thoroughly tested. But yeah, that's all the games I'm going to show for now. That'll be all for this video. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one.